calmness over their land.
Calmness over their land.
We thank you for the few nations you have forgiven.
We thank you for the few nations you have forgiven.
Sudan, you are yet to be forgiven. Start jubilating. Yes. Let them start jubilating. Because an answer is already on the table of God. He is waiting for Moses to take it. Let there be an agreement. Say, let there be an agreement.
Let there be an agreement
On the table.
on the table
To end this nonsense in Sudan. Let there be an agreement. A simple word. Just an agreement. Just an agreement can end this nonsense. We don't want to see that land divided as if it never existed before creation. These are ancient nations which God calls by name. Say Sudan is an ancient nation. It is older than any Egyptian of today. Father, we thank you for remembering them. Father, we thank you for remembering them. No one said Sudan in your car because its brother in the south was heading for a mighty war that requires only those who know the key, those who can speak the language of God, that by touching on your chest, God will remember an agreement he made with Michael, never to destroy this land again with anger. An Ethiopian residing in the land as a gift. Michael was a gift to Sudan. It only appears tall, and people wonder how great God can design his children. Father, we thank you for this redemption power you promised your children in Isaiah 27 verse 1, that you can use any tool to bring your children back home. Those in exile prepare to return to Africa. God has answered it all.
We have breaking news from Sudan, where the army has retaken control of the presidential palace in Khartoum. The paramilitary rapid support forces had seized it early in the conflict. This is being seen as a significant development. Earlier this week, soldiers surrounded the palace. Heavy fighting has been taking place in central Khartoum since Wednesday. The Sudanese army has been steadily retaking neighborhoods in the capital in recent months. A fighting between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, began in April 2023. The RSF still holds large areas of Sudan with its stronghold in West Darfur, but the state capital and largest city, Al Fashir, is now under army control. The army also holds areas in White Nile and Gedaref states, as well as most of Jazeera state. The two sides are still fighting in the capital, Khartoum, where the army has made gains in recent months. Al Jazeera's Hiba Morgan is live for us in Khartoum. So the RSF capturing the presidential palace early in this conflict, as we said, almost 2 years ago. How did the army take it back, Hiba?
Well, the Sudanese army has been gradually laying siege to the RSF forces in the capital, Khartoum, especially in the central part of the city. Now, we have seen in the past few days the army intensify attacks using drones, artillery, and even airstrikes to target positions of the rapid support forces around the presidential palace. Now, since Wednesday, the army has been intensifying those attacks. We have seen videos on social media circulating showing fighters from the RSF trying to withdraw from the presidential palace and the Sudanese army targeting them, especially after taking control of a major bridge that connects the northern part of the capital to the central part of the capital, Khartoum. The army also cut off any supply or reinforcement that could be delivered to the RSF around the presidential palace and the central part of the capital, Khartoum. So the army has been working steadily to gain grounds from the RSF in the northern part of the capital to make their way towards the presidential palace, but also they have been cutting supplies and reinforcement for the RSF, waiting for the moment that they would take the presidential palace. And in the early hours of Friday morning, that's exactly what happened. After nearly 2 years of RSF control, the army retook control of the presidential palace.
But Hiba, the military does not yet fully control the capital, right?
No, it doesn't actually. The RSF still has a strong presence in the southern parts of the capital, Khartoum. The army was able to gain full control of the northern parts of the capital in the city known as Bahri, as well as East Nile locality. Here in the city of Durman, in the capital, the army has about 80 or 90%. There are still areas in the western parts of Durman, in the southern parts of Durman, that remain RSF strongholds here in Durman. But in the southern part of the capital, the army does not have a full control. Now, the fact that the army was able to, in the past few days, link its armored corps in the southern part of the capital to the general command may be able to give it access to the southern part of the capital, Khartoum. But for the time being, the army does have the upper hand here in Khartoum, especially when you compare it to the first days of the conflict, when the RSF was spread over most of the capital, with the army only trapped inside their bases, with the RSF laying siege. But now, all the army bases in the capital are not under siege by the RSF anymore, and they have freedom of movement to be able to launch attacks and offensives against the RSF in the capital.
Hiba, what about the rest of the country?
The rest of the country has seen fighting as well, especially around El Fashir in the Darfur region. Now, the RSF had control of Jazeera state. They had control of most of Sinnar state in southeastern Sudan. The army started their major offensives here in the capital last September. But it was only in these areas that they were able to make initial gains in the state of Sinnar and in the state of Jazeera. Now, the army controls nearly all of Jazeera and they control all of Sinnar state. RSF fighters are still present in Blue Nile in southern Sudan, but they have a very strong presence in Darfur. And just yesterday, they were able to take control of the city of Malha from the army. So the RSF still has a fighting force. They still are able to take territories. But that's in the western region where they have a stronghold, where they have a lot of fighters. And the army only has one single major stronghold in the entirety of the Darfur region. So right now, the army may control the rest of Sudan, but when it comes to the western part and the southwestern parts of Sudan, the RSF still has a fighting presence, and that's where the army is focusing most of its offensives on right now, in addition to the capital, Khartoum.
Yeah, Hiba Morgan reporting there from Khartoum. Thank you very much. We'll continue to follow this breaking news throughout the day, throughout the hour as well. We'll talk to you again, Hiba. Thanks.